This is our nation's capital. That's where our representatives work each day to prove that all men are created equal. This is also our nation's capital. Yeah, those fellas in that big white building on the hill got a ways to go in the equalizing department. I used to live on this street. 7 years ago, I supported a wife, 2 kids, and 3 bookies. Then one day, my luck ran out, and like any right-thinking horse player, I ran with it. That's my wife, Olivia. She's still as pretty as the day I took off. Never found a woman that could equal her, and God knows I tried. That's Angie and Jordan, my 2 kids. I figure I can win them back because 7 years ago, they were too young to know what a heel I was. That's my mother-in-law, Lizelle. Lizelle is French for killer. The day she moved in with us, the rats moved next door. I'll say one thing for that woman, she never gives up. Even though I showed up after 7 years and moved right upstairs, she still thinks she can get rid of me. But don't count on it, because, baby, I am back. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. You are going to be the hit of your Sunday school play.
And it's my first long dress. It makes me feel so adulterated.
Oh, boy, Daddy's little girl is finally growing up. And she even wrote her own play.
But, Daddy, you helped me write it, you know.
Well, we'll just keep that our secret. Is your mom mad because I'm going?
Let me put it this way. She's not mad.
Angie, you mean you haven't told her yet?
It just never came up in a conversation.
She's gonna be furious.
Yeah. Let's tell her in church. They don't allow yelling.
I don't think it's fair to wait until then, Angie. Somebody's got to tell her now.
I think it's gonna take a very clever and courageous, mature adult.
So do I. I hope we run into one before I get there.
The warm breeze caressed the sparkling sand, while palm trees framed the mountains in this wonderland of nature.
Let me see that. Are you sure this is Death Valley?
Yes. But here's the best part, Olivia. You're coming with me.
What?
On the plane with all the congressmen.
Why would any congressman in his right mind want to go to Death Valley?
For the secret games of war. We want to show them what we're doing with the taxpayers' money. Do you realize what inflation has done to the price of ammunition?
Yes. Every year we get less bangs for the buck.
Right. So what do you say, Olivia? We leave tonight.
Wallace, why didn't you tell me about all this at the office?
Top secret. Top secret means even your secretary can't know for sure.
Well, then why tell me now?
Well, I'm not telling you as my secretary. I'm telling you as my fiancé.
Wallace, if you do not need a secretary at the war games, you certainly don't need a fiancé.
Now is the time to show and tell. Check out the hairstyle of the new Lizelle.
My mother Wilson, you look trashy.
I hope that's French for expensive. That beauty school is up to $2.
Mama, don't complain. A visit to a real beauty salon costs $20.
Honey, for $20, I don't visit. I move in.
Jordan, what are you doing?
I'm taking off this tie.
I told you, you have to wear a tie in church.
But I hate ties.
Jordan, to the happy soldier, the tie ranks second only to the spit-shine shoe.
Let's compromise. I'll take off the tie and spit on my shoe.
I think it's time for both of you to go backstage.
First, allow me to commend you for volunteering to be in the play.
I
I was told to do it. I don't volunteer for anything.
Son, you've got the makings of a true soldier.
Ray Ellis, are you ever gonna stop haunting me?
Not a ghost of a chance.
Angie, did you invite him without telling me?
I can't talk to you now, Mom. I'm on. Come on, Jordan, showtime.
Are you sure this is how Sidney Poitier got started?
Olivia, I refuse to sit in your husband's pew.
Say, why don't you get a bunch of your friends together and go mug Panama?
Cut it out, you two.
You are talking about the U.S. Army.
Every gang has a name.
Wallace, Ray is here for the same reason that we are, to see Angie's play. After all, he is her father. So will you two cool it?
Oh, will everyone please be seated? Our program is about to begin.
You're in my seat.
It'll take a bigger man than me to fill your seat.
Watch it, Ray Ellis. My day is coming.
Yes, when the ugly inherit the earth.
Brothers and sisters, it brings joy to my heart to see this wonderful turnout.
Praises be.
Unfortunately, I don't have the time to repeat my entire sermon.
Hallelujah.
But I do have enough time to repeat my favorite part, which is, it is more blessed to give than to receive. Why, Brother Ellis, it's good to see you back among the living.
It's good to be back, Reverend.
Oh, the trip to heaven will take more than bus fare, brother.
You're right, Reverend. I might as well travel first class.
Thank you. Thank you, Mother Wilson. Thank you, Sister Olivia.
All I have is a credit card.
No problem. Just sign and pass it back. Our program today is a series of Bible stories written by the children themselves. I haven't heard them, so let's begin with a silent prayer.
We're ready.
Our first play is from the book of Ruth. And as you all know, that's the touching story of a widow who gave up everything for the love of her mother-in-law.
Well,
And she was rewarded with a new husband, which is what we hope for all the widows in our congregation and the mothers-in-law.
I heard that.
And here to narrate it is the lovely and talented little Miss Angela Ellis.
Once upon a time in the land of Moab lived an old lady named Naomi. She was so poor, she couldn't even afford to get her hair done in a real beauty parlor. And one day she went to her daughter-in-law, Ruth, and said unto her, I am tired all day, so I am going back home to the land of my people. Ruth thought that was a great idea, and since her husband was legally dead, she said to Naomi, whither thou goest, I shall go, and whither thou livest, I shall live. And before they both got withered. They set off for Bethlehem. They had to walk because back then there was no busing and they couldn't afford a camel. They didn't even have enough money to buy food. But Ruth said, "Don't worry, for I shall go out into the fields and glean." Glean means to pick up the leftovers nobody else wants. And that's how she met Boaz. He was the boss of the whole field. He had a nice crop of barley around the edges, but none of it grew in the middle. Boaz saw that Ruth was hungry, so he gave her some bread. And when Naomi saw that, she said unto Ruth, "Praises be! Thou hast got it made." And sure enough, Boaz announced to his army that he wanted to make Ruth Mrs. Boaz. All the people said, "Yay, yay!" Except for one stranger who said, "No way!"
For I am the prodigal son, returned after 7 years, and Ruth is still my wife. Baldy.
Naomi was not too thrilled. And Boaz got so mad, he went off to start a war. And never came back. And Ruth decided to marry her husband again for the sake of the children. And they lived happily ever after.
Thank you, Angela Ellis, for that unique interpretation of the scriptures.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank the man who helped me write what you just saw. My daddy!
Okay, that does it. Wallace, whither thou goest, I shall go.
Even to Death Valley?
Even to Death Valley. Mama, would you please bring the kids home for me?
All right. Eat your heart out, mule face. They are going to have 3 whole days to cut the mustard.
It'll take Wallace that long to open the jar.
Well, I'm about packed. Is your suitcase in the car?
My suitcase? Let's see. Drive to Olivia's, read her the itinerary, drive to the airport, and get on the plane. That's an interesting point.
Wallace, you forgot to bring your suitcase?
Well, it's not on my itinerary. I'll have to borrow your pen.
Write it in now.
Well, I hate to see blank spaces on my itinerary.
Wallace, the plane is in half an hour. Just go home and get your bag.
Good idea.
Okay.
I'll be back in 10 minutes.
Don't bother to park. Just honk twice and I'll come out.
Olivia, I love you. Oh.
Free at last, free at last.
Jordan, you have just ruined a perfectly good tie.
There's no such thing as a good tie.
I'll see if you feel that way about it when I take it out of your allowance.
Oh, I'll glue this back together.
Ray, I only have a few minutes to say goodbye to my children, so will you please go back where you came from?
Mama, this is where he came from.
Olivia, I just came to congratulate Jordan on his theatrical debut.
And what about your debut? I never knew the Bible was written by Matthew, Mark, Luke, and Ray.
Oh, Olivia, you weren't supposed to take it personally.
That's right. Any similarity between people living or dead is
Coincidental.
Thank you.
Angie, will you tell your leading man his ex-father wants to see him? I know why you're here, Ray. You want to talk me out of going with Wallace. You think I'm going just to spite you. Well, nothing could be further from the truth. Even though using my children and my church to gain your despicable ends was the lowest, swiniest thing a human being has ever done. Death Valley is a famous paradise. Check out the brochure. I am very tired. I have been working very hard, and I need a vacation. And there is nothing that relaxes me more than games of war.
Olivia, I don't know what you're making such a big deal for. I mean, what you're doing is not unusual. Women have always chased after men.
How dare you imply I chase after men?
Oh, don't get defensive. It's in your chromosomes.
I bet you really believe that.
I don't like it either, but a fact is a fact. Now, don't fool with nature, baby. Fish gotta swim, birds gotta fly, men gotta lead, and women got to follow.
That doesn't even rhyme.
Men have always come first. It's Mr. and Mrs., boys and girls, guys and dolls.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Olivia, don't listen to this horse's neck.
That's right. Listen to the other end.
I have personally buried 5 husbands, and not one of them has asked me to follow them.
Well, why would they? They died to get away from you.
Listen, borrow breath. I've turned plenty of heads in my day.
And even more stomachs.
Livy, there's nothing wrong in pleasing your man.
Mama, do you realize who you're agreeing with?
Well, even though he said it, it's true. Now, just read your Bible. When Lot ran, who was right behind him? Mrs. Lot.
That woman was the salt of the earth.
And when Noah built the ark, it wasn't a singles barge. Every lion had a lioness.
And every bear had a bearess.
And every goat had a goatee.
You got it. And when Adam left the Garden of Eden, who followed him to the jungle?
His main squeeze, Eve.
Right. Women for 5,000 years have been following their men, and the smart ones pretend they like it.
That's Wallace. Mama, say goodbye to the kids for me.
All right.
Oh, Olivia, you can't mean this.
And why not? Women have always chased after men.
Can't you take a joke?
She married you, didn't she?
Baby, this isn't like you, baby. I know you don't want to go.
I certainly do.
What woman could spend 3 days with Wallace Dickey?
A woman who spent 7 years alone.
Mama left last night without even saying goodbye. She must be real mad at us.
Not us. You. It was your play that drove her out. I was just the star who saved it.
Well, Angie, you haven't touched your breakfast.
I can't eat. Every time I think of Mama in Death Valley, I lose my appetite.
Oh.
Well, I bet she's not losing her appetite. She's probably having a real Death Valley feast. Fried lizards, boiled spider, toasted snake.
Now I'm never gonna eat again.
Good, because I'll finish your eggs.
I'll get it, Grandma. It's Daddy. He's gonna take us to school this morning.
Good. Invite him in for breakfast.
You want to invite Ray Ellis in for breakfast? I must be in the Twilight Zone.
Hi, kids. Ready to go?
What's the rush, sugar lips? Sit down, have a cup of coffee.
No, thank you. I've got to get to work. Let's go, Jordan.
First, I gotta know why Grandma's being so nice to you.
I'll tell you why. Because you are looking at the idiot that talked your mother into going with Wallace last night.
The old con job didn't work, huh, Dad?
It worked just fine. He's here and she's there.
Come on, Jordan.
Okay, bye, Grandma.
Bye, Grandma.
Goodbye, children.
Bye, Jordan. Bye, Angie.
Why aren't you in Death Valley where you belong?
I knew she wasn't going. Admit it. I'm the reason that you stayed, right?
You're the reason I did go. I went to spite you.
No, you didn't. You went because I talked you into it.
No, Mama, you're the one who talked me out of it.
Me? All I said was that for 5,000 years, women have been following their men.
Mm-hmm, and pretending to like it.
Well, what's wrong with that?
Well, I don't like it. And 5,000 years of pretending you like something you don't like is long enough.
Baby, if you need me, you just call. I'll be right here.